Hello, I'm gonna teach you how to change out your ozonator. So, well, an ozonator is located here in the back of the unit. I want you to unplug it. I've already unplugged it to save some time. And then I want you to unplug the system, the bioquantum itself, and make sure it's off. So, we're gonna be working around the hot tank. So, one thing I recommend is to let it cool off first before attempting to work on this, so you don't burn yourself. If you're gonna work on it while the tank is still pretty hot, I recommend that you wear long sleeve or anything protective wear if you plan on doing this while the tank's very hot. I don't recommend working on this while the tank is hot, so just a FYI, just for your safety. It's gonna be hot in there. I would hold off on working on it till I had the right protective clothes on, or if I let it cool down. So just a quick FYI about that. Now we're gonna move on to the actual part of so we're gonna remove the filter set out of here, and then we'll just plug it back in. But first things first, you want to push down on the door here and pull towards you. So to push down, pull towards you, there's a little spring inside the door here that you got to push down, and that will release the door. And then once you do that, what I want you to do is we're going to turn off some ball valves to stop water entering the system. So here's the first ball valve. I want you to turn that off, and you'll know it's off because it's not in line with the tubing anymore. If it's like this, it's in line, that means it's on. If it's like this, it's crossed, so that means it's off. We don't want it, we want it off. And then while we do this, what I want you to do now is pull as much water as you can out of here. I'm gonna fill this thing up here. I'm gonna fill it up, so that should be enough water for the back pressure to release it. And then so I almost got all the water I need out. I got about 4 cups out. I'd say it's a fair amount of get out, so we don't have an issue with the back pressure. And then once you get that out, what I want you to do is go up to the tank one. So yours won't look like this, but so this is static mixer. Your static mixer will be in the back, and then it'll shoot up with this gray tubing up into the tank. So just make sure that your static mixer will be in the back, and this goes up straight up into the tank. Just remember that this goes up straight to the tank. If you're confused, just look up, and then you'll see that this gray tubing goes all the way up into the tank. What I want you to do is turn it off now. So that's off, and then the bottom valve is off as well. And then there are 2 other connections we gotta worry about. So we're gonna get those out of there first. There's the UV here. You wanna unplug that first. Push down on the clips here on both sides, and then just pull. And that should release the bulb. Once you did that, I recommend you grab a towel here. I have a towel myself here. And then what I want you to do is we're gonna wrap it around this this drain cable, drain tubing, and then we're just gonna push down on the collar piece here. If there's a red clip here, you're gonna want to pull that off first, and then you're gonna want to yank it, and then that'll release the drain. So I got the drain there, and then once I disconnected the drain, I'm going to disconnect my other 2 lines, and then once I disconnect those 2 lines, I should be able to remove the filter set from its bioquantum. So now that we did that, I'm going to go here, put the camera down, and then again, I'm gonna put my towel underneath here so I catch any water that might fall. I'm gonna push down on the collar piece. If there's a red clip here, you wanna remove it first. So if there's a red clip, remove it, and then pull. And that releases the tubing from the inlet, and then, or from the leak detector. So off of that, we then move up to our our tank here. So our tank line is right here. On yours, it's going to be probably behind the unit, or probably back here, the static mixer. This is a static mixer as well. It's just yours is probably made out of metal. This one's made out of plastic. So yeah, just follow the line up to the tank if you're confused, and it should be off already. And then once you have it off, again, I put my towel underneath it, and then I'll put my push down on the collar pieces, and I'll yank it off. And that releases the last of the tubings. So we should be able to pull this out now. Okay, so let's pull it out. So you might need to loosen the screws a little bit on these guys to pull it out. So mine are already loose. So I'm just gonna grab my manifold, lift it up, and pull it towards me. And that should release it. I have my towel here to catch any water. So there's water here, it'll be all here. So now that we opened it up, we have more room to work with now. And now that we have more room to work with, we can start cutting out the zip ties that hold it. So the SIP Neo 3 is the ozonator back here. We're gonna replace the whole thing. You might just need to replace the control panel if it's acting funny, but if it's making weird noises and stuff, I would say change out this as well. I should have everything labeled on how it's supposed to be set up. So I'm just gonna go over some quick tips. Okay, so with these zip ties, I recommend getting an X-Acto knife and then just cutting them here against the plastic part. You don't want to damage these metal tubings in the back, this mesh, this wiry mesh in the back. You do not want to, I don't recommend using any wire cutters or anything, just so you're a little bit more precise. Because if you mess up any of these, any of this mesh back here, the Freon will leak, and then your system will no longer work, make cold water. So just FYI, very important that we do not mess any of these mesh back here. So all this metal tube wiring mesh, do not cut into it. That's why I said it's very important that we cut here. So we'll cut here and then here, and then once you cut off this one, you should have access to the zip ties for the one in the front. And I would say the same exact procedure. Cut them with the X-Acto knife, making sure not to cut into the mesh here. And then so once you remove this one, you should have access to the zip ties on the back of this one. So just make sure you are very careful that you do not cut into any of this metal mesh here. Very important, not cut into the metal mesh. So once you remove this back one, you should have access to the front one, and you should be able to cut that one off too. Once you cut them both off, you're gonna want to zip tie this one in first. So yeah, once both of these are cut out, you want to grab your new ozonator, and then you're gonna want to start off with this guy right here. So you'll zip tie that one first. A good rule of thumb is to line it up with the top of it with the tank of the bottom tank of this here. So you'll see it kind of like lines up a little bit off though, but that's where I line mine up. Just so you know, that's where I line mine up, and I'll have it hanging off of that horizontal horizontal metal mesh part right there. So just yeah, hang it off of there, and then 4 zip ties on each end, on each 2 on each side, so 4 zip ties in total. And then once you zip tied that one onto the system, right, we're gonna zip tie this guy right here, and I just make it line up with the front one on the bottom. So you see how it lines up kind of? So that's how I line it up. Just make sure you hang it on the vertical metal mesh that's right above the other one. So yeah, just hang it up from there, and then use your zip ties, hang it up again, and then you'll have this, you won't have these connected. Yours will look like this. Let's see. Just go over this real quick. So once you cut these off and then put the new ones on, you're gonna have a wire you have to connect through here. So you're gonna have a wire that comes to you like this. You're gonna have a wire that looks like this. What I want you to do is when you're done installing these two on the, when you're done reinstalling the new ones, so we've cut off these ones and we put the new ones on already. So what I want you to do is there's a hole right next to it. I want you to fish this line through there, and then I usually have all the slack on the back of it, so it looks a little bit nicer. So you want to fish that through that hole right there. Let me show you right there. So I fished it through that hole right there. See right there, there's a hole right next to it. And then what I'm gonna do is there are some screw caps on the side of this. I'm gonna undo it. So you'll have screw caps like this on both of these. This guy and then the one in the back, they both have screw caps like this. What I want you to do is grab your wire. I know I pulled it out of the hole, but I'll show you. You got to put this inside here like so, and then you want to connect it to the SIP Neo on the inside. So there's a little connection here on the inside of the SIP Neo. I'm gonna do my best to reconnect it, and then I'm gonna start tightening the cap on there. So once I tighten the cap on there, you'll see there's a little cap right there. I tightened it, and then once you do that, what I want you to do is grab the other end and fish it through this hole right here on the side. Let me get that in there. And then there we go. So I fished it through that hole now. I should be able to get the other side now. Now this is important right here, so this is a better view. I have a better view here of how to show it to you. So there's gonna be a cap on the other side of this thing too. So on the one in the front here, there's gonna be a cap. We're gonna remove the cap here. And then once we remove the cap, we're gonna stick the cap inside of this cable here, and then we're just gonna connect it again, and then we're gonna tighten it up again. So it's all connected now from here. So just go over what we did again. Once we took out our filter set, we were careful to cut out the existing ozonator of the system, and then we placed the new ozonator in. Used our zip ties to get it back in there, and then from there we added our we put our cable in and connected everything. So after that is done, we're gonna go up to the tank. So we're done here. When removing your old SIP Neo 3, you're gonna have a connection here, the ozone connection. You're gonna want to remove it. I should have mentioned it earlier, but yeah, I just want to remove that when you're taking it. You'll see it when it'll be attached, but yeah, just remove it. And then we should be able to go up into the tank now. Once we're here up at the tank, what I want you to do is remove these two screws here. Make sure you don't lose them. And then once you do that, you should be able to slide it up, down, and then pull it off. And then once you do that, you'll have 3 tubings here. The one we're dealing with is the one with the straw, the clear straw coming out of it. So it's a flexible line. In your kit, I should have labeled it 2 straw on one end and then 2 ozonator on the other end. So the end with the that says to the straw, make sure you take off this old one. So yeah, take off this old one, pull it, you'll be able to pull it, and then once you pull it, just run your new line. It should be labeled. This one will say to the straw, and the one on the bottom will say to the ozonator. So this one is to the straw. Make sure it's labeled to the straw. And then once you do that, just simply run it through one of the holes down here. There are some holes down here on the ozonator. Any hole is fine that you can get it through there. So just make sure any of these holes down here, make sure that, see, mine's down there, but you can get any hole if you can get in there. So just make sure you get that in there, and then just start putting the the flexible tubing back onto the straw here. Once you got a good amount of it back onto the straw, we can run we can put our lid back on here. Remember to put the screws back in. Remember to put the screws back in on the back. And then what you'll do then is you'll have a free line here. This tubing will be free. So you just want to plug it to this nipple that's on top of this ozonator, SIP Neo 3. There's a nipple there that you're going to want to run the tubing to. You're probably not going to be able to see it in the video very well because it's kind of hard to get a thing up, but there's a nipple back there, and you're going to connect your tubing to it. Let me see if I get a good shot. Can't really get a good shot, but let me see. So there you go. So there's the tube that goes to the ozonator. So I should label it. It should be labeled. You want to run it to that nipple, and then if you want, if there's an extra zip tie you have on hand, you might be able to zip tie it on there just to secure it. I would say it's a good idea if we have an extra zip tie to secure it. And then once you do that, we can we're pretty much done. We've replaced the old ozonator, and then once you're done with that, you just want to put your filter set back in. It's easy to do that. You just want to grab your filter set, put any of these cables in if they're in the way, and then just get it back in there. So I have it back in there. I'm gonna start here on the bottom. I'm gonna reconnect my leak detector, and then I'm going to reconnect the drain. So here's a black tubing. It might be a different color for you. You'll know if it says you'll just follow this line, and if it says drain in the back, then it's your drain. So there's the drain, and then after you got the drain connected, let's go to the tank right here. So I'm going to connect my tank off of my my static mixer. And then after I do that, I'm just gonna reconnect my my UV. So my UV should be back here somewhere. I found it. Gonna reconnect that guy, and then put him back. And then once you do that, just turn your ball valves back on. And then if there's anything leaking, make sure the tubing is all the way in. And then you should be able to plug your system back in. Put your door back. All the valves are open again. Put your door back. And then simply just reprogram your ozonator. There's a separate video for that. And then you should have it. And then if not, just ask me and I'll send it to you. And then I think just turn on your system back on. And I think we're good. So I think, yeah, just going over some quick basic steps. And I know I didn't pull off the ozonator myself and do all that, but this video would have been an hour long if I did that. So just quick steps and pointers on how to change it out without having issue. If you need more help, obviously let me know. Just give me a ring and call me, and then I'll help you out from there too. Thank you, and bye-bye.